Aaron Nesmith is a guy that you will not hear a lot about, but he was a guy who, in my opinion, was the best shooter in college basketball this past season, and he's a guy who will be in the NBA draft once that draft comes around. So in today's video, we'll be talking about Aaron Nesmith and what his impact will be depending on the team that he gets taken by in the NBA. Let's get right into it. In most mock drafts that I've seen, Aaron Nesmith is right at the end of the lottery or just outside of the lottery, so most mock drafts have him coming in around a top 15 pick. But for being a top 15 pick, I have definitely not heard a lot about Aaron Nesmith, and the hype for Aaron Nesmith is definitely very low. However, like I said, Aaron Nesmith was one of the best shooters in the country this past season, and in my opinion, he was the best. So I see no reason for him not to be getting more hype, and I definitely think he deserves more recognition. His numbers this season were absolutely ridiculous at Vanderbilt. He averaged 23 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 1 assist per game on 51% shooting from the field and 52% from 3. And most of his points were coming from the three-point line, so he was averaging 23 points per game from mostly threes, shooting over 50%. I think that you cannot argue with me when I say that Aaron Nesmith is the best shooter in this draft. He was also very impressive on the defensive end, averaging 0.9 blocks per game and 1.4 steals per game. One of the things that I like a lot about Nesmith is that he came kind of out of nowhere. He's a sophomore, and in his freshman season, nobody expected him to be an NBA caliber guy come his sophomore season. From his freshman to sophomore season, he made massive jumps in pretty much every category, and obviously his three-point shooting was off the charts. He can shoot spotting up, off the dribble, mid-range three-point line. He can do it all when it comes to shooting the basketball, and I think that this is a big reason that he will translate, or his game will translate very well to the NBA. He's not the greatest slasher. He doesn't have the greatest handles. He's not the best ball handler. He's not the best inside scorer either, but he's not bad at those things. He's average at those things. He's maybe even above average compared to the average college basketball player. But when we're talking about draft prospects, he's pretty average. But like I said, I think that his three-point shooting, his jump shot in general makes up for that. And I think that he has a ton of room to improve, and he has the potential to improve when it comes to slashing, ball handling, getting to the rim. And I think that if he can become a threat shooting the basketball and attacking the rim, he's going to be a deadly NBA player. My favorite thing about Aaron Nesmith, though, easily has to be that his size, length, and athleticism could make him an elite two-way player in the NBA. He already has the jump shot, he already has the great defense, and I think that if he can get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and grow into that NBA body, he's going to be a deadly two-way player, could be an elite 3-and-D guy, and like I said, if he can develop that inside scoring game a little bit more, develop the handles a little bit more, he doesn't just have to be 3-and-D, he could be an elite two-way player, an elite small forward, and I think that he could potentially be an all-star caliber player if he can develop this, just because of how good his defense is, his size, athleticism, like I mentioned before. I think that he could be a very good wing player in the NBA. But despite all of the upside and all of the things that I love about Aaron Nesmith's game, I am concerned that he will be taken by the wrong team, a team that doesn't want to develop him, a team that wants to turn him into something he isn't, or expects too much out of him in the beginning, or just doesn't let him be the player that I think that he can be. I'm concerned that one of those type of teams, one of those bad management teams, will ruin this guy, will not allow him to become the player that I know he can become. So I'm just praying that a team takes him and is willing to develop him. I don't think that he will be ready right off the bat. I think that he could be a guy who comes off the bench and hits threes right off the bat. But like I said, I think that he needs a little bit of development. But if a team drafts him that is willing to do that, that is willing to take the time with him and develop him a little, I think that Aaron Nesmith could be a star player. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your thoughts on Aaron Nesmith, whether or not you knew him before this video, what your thoughts are on his game in general. What team do you think should take him, and what team do you think would develop him into the player that I know he can be? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.